Hello, this is Nicholas here. Today's episode is going to be handling delayed payments like a pro without burning bridges. Now, I don't know if I'm the right person to speak on this though. Somebody wanted me to speak on it, because he's having the problem currently, and he wanted to get my opinion, right? I don't. I'm surprised because the person reached out to me because he saw one of my videos on YouTube, a bit audio. Um, so let's just get on with it. In my opinion, the answer is actually very simple. If somebody is delaying your payment, I have burned bridges before, and saying without burning bridges, it can be tricky. It's kind of like for me, sometimes I can be hot-headed in this kind of area because I don't like providing a service, and after I'm done providing the service, my payment is delayed. So if this happens to you, or if you notice it is happening to you currently, the only advice I can tell you is to forget the money, or and learn from it, right? Um, the constant pressure of thinking about the money and trying to reach out to that person is definitely going to start affecting your mental health. At least it did in my own case. And before you know it, you would be actually losing more money that should be coming to you, right? Because you keep on chasing the one that has gone. Because if somebody is delaying your payment for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, I don't even really think that person has any intention to pay. It's just going to be a hassle. The person wants to prove they have power over you. Hold on, will pay you, and all those stuff. It's just very irritating. So the only advice I can give is for you to forget the money. Just totally forget the money. Right? In 20, let me give you my own personal experience. In 2018, yeah, I was doing service then. I had a client that reached out to me. We had I think we concluded on the cost for doing the project was 500,000 naira. And mind you, 2018, that was a very big deal. And I worked extremely hard on this project. He flew me from Bauchi to Lagos because I did my NYC in Bauchi twice. The first time I went there to make sure I have the full scope. He wanted it to be personal and he wanted me to sign on the document. And after I did all that, I signed and everything. He saw me, he could validate that I'm a real person and I can develop this. And he was skeptical because I was about GD my NYSC, right? But after doing all that, he paid me 250,000 out of the 500,000. And he told me that after I am done with the work, he's going to pay me the remaining balance. So I went back to Bauchi. If he paid for the ticket, I'll give you that. Back and forth. And I started working on the project and he loved the project. I think after a month or two, the memory is a little bit hazy for me now. He loved the project, and he wanted me to come back again to Lagos so that we could go to Glow office because it had a USSD component that he wanted to promote to Glow, right? So I came, he paid for the ticket. This time around, he paid for only the coming. He did not pay for the going back, right? I remember it was Arik Air, and I lodged myself. He did not pay for my lodging, right? Because he told me that he's going to pay all those things later on. That I should just use my money to do that. And when I came to Lagos, I lodged myself, and I could not. I could not pay for the like 2 3 days. I went to my auntie's place in Lagos after the first time because it did not make any sense for me to be paying for a motel, that I'm not even sure if this guy is going to pay. I was not having any doubts, but as a young boy, I was like, okay, let me save money, let me go to my auntie's place, which was very far because my auntie was staying in Aja. Uh, at that time, Lagos was very, very big in my eyes. So deep down in Aja, coming to Glow, which I think is in Ikoyi, I'm not so sure. Uh, it was a huge transport. Before I was staying in the place he got me was in VI around there, so it was easier. Maybe 20-30 minutes. I'm already there. Oh, but I decided to do that sacrifice because I wanted to. I was a young guy. I wanted to not put my money pay for that and just I don't know. My spirit just told me to go there, and I went there. Then we did the whole meeting with Glow. Glow loved it. I don't know what else they decided because I had to step out and they had to continue their meeting. And when he came out, he told me that he's going to send me. That he was very happy. He loved the work that was done, and he told me he's going to send me my plane tickets back to Bauchi, right? Because I had CDS. This was a Wednesday. I had CDS of Thursday, which is the next day, and I had to leave Lagos to Bauchi that evening. It was around 11, 12-ish during after the meeting with Flo. He did send the ticket. He told me that he's going to pay. He did not let her pay for the hotel part, and I just left that part. He told me you paid the remaining balance of 250,000 tomorrow. And mind you, I've already spent that money. That's why I say just learn your lessons and move on. I've already spent that 250,000 in my head, and stuff like that. I've already planned what I'm going to use it for and stuff. I was very excited when I got to Bauchi, but you can't fly directly to Bauchi from Lagos at that time. I don't know about now. You had to go to Jos. Then from Jos, you take a transport to Bauchi. So it was always a hassle. Even going there and from Bauchi, you need to go to Jos. From Jos, I almost missed my flights the both times I did this. So it was a struggle. And it was even I was even exhausted with the whole flight thing because if you fly, you enter transport from Jos to Bauchi. And when I got back, I was exhausted. Then the next day, it was around 6 in the evening, and I've not received any alert. So I messaged him, hi, what's going on? He kept on telling me, don't worry, he'll send it. And this was what was, it went off for a month. I was almost getting depressed because, like I told you, I've already spent that money in my head. And it dawned on me after like 2-3 months that, okay, this guy is not going to pay. Because at some point he stopped picking my call, then he'll pick my call, then he'll tell me, don't worry, they are finalizing something. No, this corporate talk now. And for me as a young boy, the NYSC, I felt like that was where it kind of broke my heart in that area that I learned my lesson really, really quickly. So what was my lesson? Do not, always accept payment before the work is done. And if you are going to accept payments after the work is done, hold all the credentials to the server, to the work you've done. Because in my case, I did not hold it. I submitted all those things. They've already changed the password and everything. So if somebody says they are going to pay you after the work is done or in installments, hold all the server credentials and make it very clear to them that if they miss that deadline, you are going to shut down the site or the app or whatever you've done for them. Make it extremely clear. It's better you lose that person as a client than the person comes to you as a client and maybe you deceive them and tell them, don't worry, you can pay me later, and the person does not pay you later and you got shut down the site. The conversation just changes automatically and you become the bad guy, right? So I don't mind being the bad guy, but I've learned that lesson the hard way, and I went through a lot of headache during that period. Not necessarily that I was owing people, but because of I could not, if you have an expectation, you've already planned what you're going to use money to do, how you're going to spend it, and the entire thing just crumbled. It's not that it's your fault, it's you delivered, you did all your part, and the person just doesn't want to pay, right? So That was a hard lesson for me to learn, and I believe that's going to be a hard lesson for you to learn. Hold something. That's why if you go to the bank, they ask for you for collateral. They need to hold something so that if you don't pay, they know how to enforce that payment or get that money back. So if the tech world, if you don't hold anything, some of them might not. There are a lot of people that don't mind owing you. I know the crazy thing that one of the things that hurt me the most there. I used to see his status at that time. I don't know if WhatsApp has status or it was it Facebook. I think either of that Facebook where he was living a good life, like traveling, doing things, moving around, because like he was well, he was living well, hotels to hotels to hotels. But young guy did NYSC, he did not want to pay the remaining balance, and that was when he dawned on me that okay, the guy cheated me very very well, because by the time at this stage I am now, even at that time, what I have done for him, what the project of it should be, he should have paid me almost 2.5 million least. In fact, anybody I tell this is what I did for this client, they're like, Jesus, the guy really did cheat you. Even at that 500 that we signed. And I think that was why he was able to reach out to me from Bauchi. Because first of all, he knows I'm not going to do anything at that time. And I was a student, a NYSC guy, copper. So, maybe he has shot the idea to other actually working developers at that time. And when he saw that I said 500K, ignorant me, he was very excited. And he still did not pay the money complete. So I think that's the end of my story, right? So the best thing to do is to just forget about it. Forget about it. Or just forget about it, move on, and learn from it so it does not happen to you again. Now, it has not happened to me again since then, right? At least not in that magnitude. Um, uh, but it was a huge lesson I had to learn. All right. Thank you very much, and bye bye.